Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Irish Indie Gaming League friendly series, Blizzard versus Ericsson. This is the 25th of March 2019. So, welcome everybody. My name is Tom. I'm on the Irish Indie Gaming League committee, and this evening I'm going to be taking you through this game solo. I'll be encouraging a lot of Twitch chat interaction here. I'll be keeping a close eye so you guys can keep me from feeling so lonesome tonight. Is this like one of those late night radio talk shows where I'm just, I'm just reaching out to you, y'all. I'm just gonna sail you through this rest of the evening and bring you to a solemn sleep, only to clap my hands loudly in your face to wake you all up and then get you prepared for the onslaught of Overwatch that is about to happen tonight. This stream is in aid of Enable Ireland this evening. All donations are going to go to our wonderful charity of choice, which is Enable Ireland. If you go to streamlabs.com/art Indifferent Gaming, you will find the link to donate there for all of your favorite Father Ted voice lines that will pop up during the game. Now that I have appropriately dropped the volume and verified that I do have audio actually coming through on the side of the stream, I hope you guys can hear me very clearly here. I'd appreciate a bit of feedback on the audio side in the chat, if you guys can let me know what's going on, just in case. Unless again, this is Blizzard versus Ericsson. This is actually the second game that Blizzard have played against Ericsson. I believe the first game went to 3-1 to Blizzard. Ericsson managing to take Hanamura in the second game. Bit of a twist and turn. If you guys want to find the clip of that match on the Twitch channel, there is some hilarious movement on that particular Hanamura map. That's definitely worth checking out. And with that, this is the first game that the IIGL has seen since a fairly substantial balance update of Overwatch that came in on March 19th. Not only was there an array of balances to quite a number of characters, but it also brought the introduction of the newest support character to the game, Batiste, who was a rather interesting kit, which, if you delve into the details of it a bit and maybe put on your tinfoil hat, you can see how this is quite appropriately placed to sort of counter the meta that we've seen with goats being such a staunchly chosen method of attack, with teams across the board, even in the pro leagues, and especially with us in the Irish Indie Gaming League, we can see it with some great success from an array of teams between EA, Ericsson, Blizzard. So it'll be interesting to see if this is going to be one that's going to be chosen, because with Batiste, I forget the name of his, I should probably have my notes open right here now, shouldn't I? But his ability to cancel or to stop you from actually dying with a maintained health of 30 is going to be fairly powerful against a lot of the pushes that we're going to be seeing, particularly with Lucio taking a nerf on his effect. Pretty much cost pretty much dropping his area of effect with his team, but only really improving his speed on himself. So kind of pushing a goats form team forward is going to have a lot more difficulty. It's still going to be a viable option, I'm sure, but it's not going to quite be the speed train. Maybe knock it down to the Air Road Air and train from Galway to Dublin at 2:30 on a Sunday afternoon. I've just been informed that the audio is coming out of your left ears. Well, I'm going to try and see if I can get your right ear a bit of attention. So just bear with me for one moment. I have returned, and hopefully with a better balance of audio into your right ear. I apologise for neglecting your right ear for now, and to any tinnitus sufferers amongst the audience tonight, I apologise for that too. Thank you, Dan KGH, for hosting us this evening. I hope your viewers are going to have a better audio experience with a balanced head experience, I believe. So just to pop over to our lobby here, we can see that we are indeed joined by Ericsson and B Lizard. Blizzard, in their glory, have disallowed me from using the Blizzard title in the title of the actual game itself and in the teams. So I'll do my best to try and not say B Lizard and just try to make it Blizzard, because Jeff can't take my voice. That's the one thing he can't take away from me. Looking between our Blizzard and Ericsson team here, we're seeing familiar faces on the Ericsson side. J-Bomb, the captain of the Ericsson team, coming back in strong. This is indeed the team that we are quite familiar with from the previous Blizzard game, with some top tier plays from Ropesy coming in the last game, seeing more of Tested 247 and Connor Hickey. On the Blizzard side, we have our own friend of the show and friend of the team itself, the Eagle team that is, Pilgrim being our captain for today, joined by some familiar faces with Sephiron and Kat and Dookie, I believe, is seeing that as well, but I believe we have some fresh meat on the battlefield tonight. There's been a lot of smack talk in the background between these two teams. I can leak that bit of information for you guys. So this might be a fairly hairy one, judging by the conversation that's been going on in the background. I'm sorry, I'm currently doing my... I'm instinctively gone into my radio voice now at this moment, but once it gets into the action, I'm going to be talking a lot faster and probably dropping the ASMR effect. I do have a coin here, though, that I can hit against things if that'll get your ASMR going. We're just returning to what I was saying before. It'll be very interesting, and that I just saw somebody call out in the chat there. Ropesy on the Ericsson team, very apt and very capable with the rip tires on the Junkrat side. This will be interesting to see if Blizzard is aware of this from the previous game, and to see if they will be the team to actually put Batista onto their arsenal and see if that'll be able to counter the rip tire, as his damage control, his area of control is very, very strong with the newest addition of Batista to the game. Along with the additions of characters to the game, there's also been the addition of Paris, I believe, since the last game that we had. Now, we're not exactly omitting this from the list by any means, but I'd be pretty confident in saying that neither of the teams are going to be selecting Paris as part of this. But it is going to be a best of 5, beginning with Control, following on to Assault and Hybrid, needing to continue from that Escort, and then finally in our tiebreaker between Oasis and Busan. We can get into the more granular details of the maps on each other pool when we get to them. But of course, we are going to be kicking off with Control, with between Ilios, Lijiang Tower, and Nepal. I'm sorry, folks. I'm just going to try. Oh, I believe I know what I can do. Okay, this should be quite the improvement on the audio side for the mic. Apologies for the technical difficulties. I recently got a new PC and I've had to reinstall all of my audio related software. So this should be the fix that you guys are looking for. Particularly as I'm seeing I'm getting far better audio levels now on this side too. In classic Irish Indie Firms gaming fashion, it is not without technical difficulties. So. As is tradition in the Irish Indie Firms Gaming League, I have before me not the official IIGL coin, the one that is kept warm in the pocket of the Malufcious J, but I do have a 5 crown or 5 kroner Danish coin here, which I use pretty much exclusively for its ASMR effects on the microphone, as one of you in the chat was so inclined to tell me. So I have obscured the vision of the chat within here, so Blizzard, as victors of the previous game, are going to go for heads, and Ericsson on tails. Hopefully you got some nice high frequency wavelengths out of that flip. And it is indeed tails, so Ericsson are going to be choosing the first map of tonight. So just to reiterate, Ericsson will be going for the first pick between Ilios, Lijiang, and Nepal, which they have chosen Nepal. Just a reminder to everybody, tonight is of every donation this evening is of course going to be going to Enable Ireland, a fantastic charity in the country that we are very, very happy to have a partnership with. So please, with all of that coffee money that you spend during the day, be sure to donate to Enable Ireland, who do some wonderful work. You will be seeing some wonderful Father Ted quotes popping up on the screen. I believe Andy is in the chat there. He's quite a fan of the Arse Biscuits shout out, so right, without further ado, before we get to 10 p.m, this could be a potentially long one. This is a late start for an IIGL match typically, so here we go. Jumping into Nepal, first game. Control of Blizzard versus Ericsson. So I believe the first of the last Ericsson versus Blizzard game was in fact on Ilios as well, and there was a pretty big struggle with both teams using goats, with Blizzard coming out in the stronger. So with the changes that I had previously noted at the beginning of the game, it'll be interesting to see if this is something that Blizzard will indeed maintain throughout the game. And if it's something that Ericsson themselves are willing to either partake in as well or be able to counter in a pretty substantial fashion. I'm crazy like a fool, but what about Daddy Cool? Don't you just love when you're
ready for battle?
So starting off here, we're seeing a fairly 2-2-2 flat across the board here, with Blizzard going hard on the Lucio and Moira, so they are going to be maintaining speed. Going to be seeing if Reaper is going to be doing much flanking on that side there, but he is going to have to return to those support characters for a lot of help. While on the Ericsson side, not really seeing that build side either, so I am taken by surprise by both of these here, but maybe they're just listening to the patch notes in very close fashion. Ericsson pushing in on the flank here, with Blizzard just going hell for leather, straight going in. Getting the first defense on the point here. McCree trading some shots with the other McCree there on ropes. Slowly approach on the left here with the main pushing in on this wall, seeing if they can get any damage going in, but it seems that Reaper's shield is going to be the first one to go down here, as they are going to have to do this one. Zarya taking a lot of charge there as well, being able to hold back, but at the same time Blizzard taking the damage for himself. Not without a lot of lever though, Duke pushing in very hard here. Down the Earth, not taking anybody down, but still, Kat and Dookie taking out Sephiroth into with a very, very strong push on the Ericsson side. Maybe turning this around for Ericsson here. It's very comfortably taking the point. 21% maybe a defensive coalescence on the side, but backed up by Dookie here. Oh, it looks like he's not going to have a good time there, taken down by the rest of the team, left alone. Trying to save his Moira J-bomb on the side of the Ericsson. On the 21-21, just about on time for Blizzard to try to take back a point here. Shadow going down. Managing to get Diva out of her mech. Having to retreat on the left-hand side of the counter, trying to do some damage from the left. Yuki being really aggressive here, doing a bit of damage into taking down Reinhardt. Trade for trade, Reinhardt at this point here. Only Connor Hickey left on the point. Some damage from that. Free, but at the same time, Coalescence taking in his first push out here. Moira trying to get the save on Connor Hickey as he's been met, but he's backing up and finally taken out by Raingry. I really should have practiced these names beforehand, but hey. Thank you for the technical support on the chat. It's a one-man show this evening, so I appreciate all the help I can get. Quick approach here with Ropesy trying to get some picks off, and that's great. That is 2 picks on the Deadeye, followed up with the D.Va self-destruct, comfortably bringing them in, but that's a fairly decent use of their Pokemon. That's pretty much it from the side of Tested, sitting on the sound barrier, ready for what may be a fairly hard push on the Blizzard side. Definitely seeing things in their favor there. At the same time, it was a fairly strong push on Ropesy and Dookie to use the Deadeye and Earthshatter together in the last round, buying them a surplus of 20% and rising. So we'll see how this is going to turn out if that Sunbury can do anything at this point here. Grav taking pretty much the majority of the tanks on the Ericsson side. Not really seeing much from that Death Blossom, but dropping down. Ericsson is getting picked out 1 by 1 here. Great Earthshatter from Invox on the Blizzard side. Fairly clean execution. A good sneak up from the left hand side here, and not really much garnered from anything besides the Grav, but that was just enough picks just to make sure that they could push in and really nail that. Ericsson slowly just trying to get a bit of damage on here. It's definitely even on the ult side with a great Earthshatter in, but countered again from Invox. Pretty much leaving that fight even now. Maze ult coming in hard now. Let's see if the damage can actually be done. Coalescence keeping the rest of the Blizzard side alive here, with both the supports laying on the point, really giving them the support they need, getting a bit of high fire from Ropesy here, seeing if he can get any picks, but Blizzard seem to be holding the ground very strongly, which will make them bring... Oh! Just as I was about to say, them taking the first round. J-Bomb valiantly dashes in to see if he can keeping himself alive with his own healing orb. They don't seem to notice him, and he's doing a great job stalling a lot of time to get his team on the point, just enough time to get Dookie back on the point. Tested dropping down the sound barrier now, and the self-destruct, not really taking anything here, with Blizzard ready to take themselves behind the pole. Dookie taking that one hit, but hammer to hammer, unable to take Invox down at that point. Trying to get a bit of a disrupt here from Ropesy, swapping over from his soldier to his wrecking ball and doing not enough to knock people off of the point here, with Sefarion pretty much cleaning up the rest of the board with Death Blossom. Score 1-0. Ready. Getting some nice callouts to Ropesy on the stream here. Fan favorite, I believe. Always one that goes down well. Hasn't really seemed to be playing his the love of his life Junkrat much, who has gotten a fairly significant buff in the most recent update. His grenades going from a damage of 40 to 50, which is fairly substantial and fairly good against very bulky tanks, which seemed to be a problem. Invox is definitely getting the upper hand on not only some of the squishy members of the team, but definitely on Dookie. Playing a little more aggressively and maybe catching Dookie off guard in some regards, getting some sneaky Earthshatters in there in the last round. Walled in by May on the Ericsson side. A great dash there from Dookie, making me eat my own words, as Connor Hickey is able to break through the discourse that Dookie was causing, taking down both the supports. Further cleanup here. Ropesy taking the Symmetra on this point here. Symmetra also getting a bit of a buff, or doing more damage onto shields, or at least the buff does warm up faster against shields. Maybe Ericsson seeing the threat on the Blizzard side of the Reinhardt, so they're really prepared to double down here to make sure that he is not capable of putting as much pressure on him as they did in the last round. bunching up nicely inside the house here on the Ericsson side, with Pilgrim trying to disrupt a bit here, really using that speed boost buff to his advantage, getting out. Oh, just about to say getting out unscathed, but fairly taken down by the Earth Shatter on the Dookie side. Dookie keeping up his shield from that Deadeye from Ray Ingray on the McCree. Trading Coalescences here with not much to do in terms of damage or healing with that few members of the Blizzard team on the point, but allowing Ericsson to hold strong, steadfast here on this point. Not really seeing any changes on the Blizzard side here in terms of team composition. They're fairly confident in their picks, allowing Inbox to get a bit of damage done there. Oh, and quite the boot there. Not quite close enough to get him off, but enough to disrupt him. Symmetra blocking out. Wow, really cutting the point in half here and completely nullifying any Blizzard presence on the point with that extra boot there too. Inbox taking the pick on May, not really doing much damage, but enough to defer the team off the point with her crews. Safarian taking out the Lucio there with the rest of the cleanup. Huge kills from Dimi there on the Zarya. A lot of ults used there on both sides really, but probably harder to see Ericsson using more there as they've less to push with at this point, but at the same time there's not really much that Blizzard can particularly retaliate. Trying to fake on the right there with the Orisa shield. Everybody using their abilities pretty hard in the corner here as they prepare, getting really hit far and hard in the face by both DPSs out on the window here. Can this cleanup can they manage this cleanup here for a fairly strong push against the tanks that are only remaining on the point? Pilgrim doing a lot of disruption there, but pretty much just riding the way all the way back to the point as Inbox is chasing down Ropesy on the Symmetra as he just clocks 1 and 2 down. Dookie doing a lot of cleanup effort on the DPSs. Not much Blizzard could do with those two DPSs running outside there. Were they overzealous in that approach? Were they caught out? I think the McCree was there waiting to try and get some damage. They were snuffed out by the Ericsson team. A lot of volts being used here, but huge shatter there to bring them down. The grab in retaliation, but only Pilgrim on the point as Lucio to try and do any damage with this. Trying to contest as much as he can in overtime, but unfortunately to no avail. That is going to be round 2 to Ericsson.
It's high noon.
Ericsson being the technology company that they are, happy to see Ropesy is able to break out as many toys as they possibly can to aid in the assault. Again, Blizzard staying fairly hard with the meta at the moment, swapping off the Lucio for a Zenyatta. Pilgrim maybe not feeling so confident on the use he was getting out of the speed, but Ropesy communicating to his team to try and just get that bit of a boost to try and catch out Sephiron, and seems to be doing pretty well, but was able just in the nick of time manage to get behind there. Turret doing a lot of damage behind Inbox, but he soldiers on and breaks on through. Cat trying to disrupt the fight with the ice wall. Not getting much out of it there. Fairly even trades up until I said that there. Ropesy absolutely wiring people down on the Symmetra. He was focused 100% on that Reinhardt shield, just buffing up his laser as much as he possibly could. And when you're not ready for that, that's what happens. Just, you cannot go against that. It's pretty much as powerful as the Zarya laser on quite a high charge. And with the speed that Symmetra has as well, it's not something you want to be affected with. Pilgrim on the right hand side of the Blizzard push as he recons with the rest of his team here. Two walls here trying to stop the push as the Coalescence comes out. Try and see if they can get some damage. This is a lot of ults here. That's the Symmetra wall. That's the ice. And that is the Coalescence and the Earth Shatter. I mean, Yeah, they won the round. At what cost? 40%. Seems like a fairly decent hole, but with just the sound barrier left, it seems like it's going to be a bit of a harder hold. While at the same time, only Invox coming in now with the Earth Shatter at 95%. So with the pressure that they're putting on, maybe it was a reasonable trade-off, but it's not going to be as comfortable as a fight as the last one. Struggling to get their hands around on these sentry turrets here. Doing well now. They're more prepared. Blizzard are more calm and collected on their approach. They're trying to do some damage on the shield here as Inbox's shield goes down. Rogue's really doing his job and keeping the pressure on the shields, and wow, taken out. Just complete focus. Absolutely no shield tank for this approach here as Mercy brings in 2 Earth Shatters down. Wow. Another Ice Ball here from May along with the Supercharger. Ericsson really wanting to keep this point here, but it comfortably brings them out. Ericsson taking map 1. Blizzard really struggling to get the pressure on in the 3rd round there. Enough so that Ericsson were more than happy to be very zealous with their pulse there, but I mean, smoke him if you got him, right? Ropsy playing into Symmetra very well, just focusing on those shields, and many shields there were for him to for them to go against. In the first round, seeing how much of a problem Invox was as pressuring the rest of the team. Ropsy seeing the DPS choice for Symmetra as a fairly viable one. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is Ericsson taking round 1. We're seeing 2 subs coming in on the Ericsson side here. Let me just cover up all these secrets here, folks. I mean, we don't have any secrets here, but for the privacy of the companies that we have here, it's an important part of the integrity of the IIGL. Just bear with us for one moment, folks. I am going to reach out to the teams and make sure all substitutions and map choices have gone accordingly. So I'll be back in one moment. Please bear with us. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, tonight is in association with Enable Ireland. All your donations this evening will be going to this wonderful charity. We've been pretty much driving for them for the past couple of months, and I've worked with charities in the past in different regards, but I've never worked with a charity that is, for some reason, very in tune with the esports scene, and particularly the Irish esports scene. So, I mean, I'm not going to say no to a fantastic opportunity to work with a wonderful charity like that. And they're very happy to be working with us in this regard as well. So if you're willing to give the cost of a cup of coffee to a person calling out to a wheelchair-bound person's house or a house in sick children, it's usually house calls that these people do. So buy them a coffee. All proceeds gone through Streamlabs will go directly to Enable Ireland. And of course, Jay has asked me to remind people that the money was just resting in his account, and it'll be going straight to Enable Ireland. Streamlabs.com/Irish Interfirms Gaming. Thank you very much for waiting, folks. The next map is going to be Assault, and Blizzard have chosen Hanamura. I have a very squeaky chair. I swear I didn't just fart. The height of professionalism is all we can expect from the Irish Interfirms Gaming League. Shout out to you, boy Andy, from the... You just recently changed your name. Just the Irish Overwatch crew, the Irish Overwatch Discord channel, providing everybody with the best news and probably best scrims and pugs that you can get in the country right now. Hop onto their page here, Andy. Feel free to share link to your Discord and all information to get you guys on board. Everybody on this stream is obviously interested in Overwatch and subscription, so if you're looking for a crew of really, really chilled out dudes and gals to hop into some games with, if you're not particularly happy with the find a group function in Overwatch, you can find some pretty good players and some pretty laid back folks over there in the Irish Overwatch Discord channel. And also, thank you so much for the donation. Really appreciate it.
Traveling to Hanamura.
So seeing some substitutions on the Ericsson side here, seeing Hydroid Prime and Yeloff. Haven't seen these two players before, so this could be an interesting mix. The Ericsson crew have been practicing hard out here in the background, as have the Blizzard team. So with this new fresh roster of people, a lot of excitement on the pitch here today. Just to bear in mind, folks, there is a 1 minute delay on the stream, so if I'm not replying to chat immediately, it is because of that, pretty much. The 1 minute delay is, of course, to protect each team from stream sniping. Not that I would expect any of that kind of foul play in the Irish Uniforms Gaming League, but hey, we're all about proactive approaches here in the Irish Uniforms Gaming League.
Ready for battle.
No clipping around here like nobody's business. Seeing a similar choice of composition on the Blizzard side here, defending in Hanamura, swapping on for the Junkrat here now as well, trying to squeeze that extra bit of damage out of him since the balance update. And along with Pilgrim's Zenyatta, hoping to get a lot of that extra damage there too. Coming in with the Pharah on the Ericsson side rather. Fairly interesting choice attacking here on Hanamura. We've seen some fairly good success from Ericsson with their Pharah in the past, but we've not seen Mercy to back them up. Instead, Jay on Hanamura and in Anna. This new player had a prime absolutely belonging Anna. Maybe having no Mercy is no problem there. Should be able to keep Pharah in the sky. Taking a lot of damage. Oh, Dookie running out. Wow, really not paying close enough attention to that with the teleport from Roxy, of course. Very sneakily bringing around, allowing Dookie to just completely take him off guard with his dash. Invox coming in here strong, but not enough damage to keep it on the point. Ericsson, they even took me by surprise. Never mind taking Blizzard by surprise. That was an incredible push on their part there. Yeloff very excitedly celebrating with his dance.
Objective B.
Pretty good momentum here, and with just under 7 minutes on the clock, this is a really, really good opportunity for Ericsson to get themselves up here. Blizzard just about enough time to try and get their defenses on the high ground as Ericsson are pushing in hard. Definitely outnumbered with this crouch here, with Dookie getting flashed there by Ranger. But that's not enough time for them to get a fairly strong hold on the high ground. There on that side. Very big trades here with tanks just doing absolute work. Pilgrim's the only man left on the point on the Blizzard side. Trying to just keep this thing contested as Arion comes back on, trying to do what he can, but this is one tip on the Ericsson side. They're trickling really, really hard, with Yeloff doing amazing work, trying to keep them in the spawn there. Coalescence coming out to try and do so much damage, but it's enough for Yeloff to hold them back, as Ericsson very, very comfortably take round one.
Score 0-2. Switching sides.
5:54 on the clock for Ericsson.
Initiating
Hanamura being a strong map on both sides of this team. From what we had seen last time, it went down to the wire in the previous Blizzard versus Ericsson game on Hanamura. So, not to call out too much yet, it is still quite early days in this map. If you can get good momentum on that attack, it can be quite easy to push all the way through. They got a very good opportunity scattering the Blizzard team on the high ground and managing to take out the Reaper. The only kind of flankable character that they had to boot, but it is not to say that Blizzard won't be able to hold such an aggressive attack as well. What could you attribute the attack to? Well, I don't want to just put it down to the Symmetra teleport, but that was an amazing trick from the Ericsson side.
Attackers
Ropesy
incoming
coming out with his
30
cheeky moves
seconds.
again. And Dookie always there to back him up. What's good to have when you're sneaking around with teleports? Well, it's a big fucking dude with a hammer, that's for sure. Ropesy taking the Junkrat here, a fan favorite. Dookie doing a little bit of a boogie over there with a shield. Interesting pick on the Blizzard side, bringing out the Brigitte at this stage in the game.
Attackers incoming.
Brigitte Mora hoping to get a decent push here now as they're pushing down mid. Not making any pretenses about their push whatsoever. They're just going straight in. Trading a lot of damage there. Pilgrim getting fairly warmed up already. This is going to be a point where Ericsson are going to have to be very careful with the amount of damage output they have against that side. This is going to be a great opportunity. Inbox trying to get a fairly early push in there, but walled in by the Ericsson May wall. Managed to get picked out along with Pilgrim on that side too in a very similar push. This of course is going to have to allow Blizzard to push back and regroup. Not a bad push, but definitely blocked out from that May wall. Probably going to hunger to try and get that May wall out of the team before they start their next approach here, as they're coming in fairly steadfast. Pilgrim trying to get a bit of charge on his bubble there. Ropesy fairly comfortably just kind of laying down covering fire, but may not be enough to deter Pilgrim from pushing it a bit more. Great hook from Yellow there and walled off too. Wow. Great coordination from the Ericsson side there. There's a Riptire on the side of Ericsson comes out. Just hit fire. Ropesy and his hit fire Riptires. This is classic IIGL play right here, folks. The triple kill on Ropesy. First Riptire of the game. Not disappointing whatsoever. Is 2 a.m. is 20 past 10 is close enough to a work night 2 a.m. for all of the individuals on these teams. Everybody's got work to call out. I feel like I'm trying to do a lot of damage on Juki here, trying to just tear down as much of the shield as possible. But still getting very overzealous there, not playing behind the Reinhardt shield, managed to get picked off by Yeloff. Getting some nice hooks in there, and just as I say that, the next hook here, but enough, laying down enough damage to even make Blizzard's tanks have a lot of trouble. Oh, and the hook bringing them in as well with the bubble, but not seeing get much damage on the self bubble of Children or the bubble that was on Reinhardt there. Really scattering the Blizzard team here as the Riptire on the Blizzard side comes out. What a perfect pop and sentence from J-Bomb, completely nullifying that great assault of us from the Blizzard side. Blizzard trying to get sneaky here with Rainigri, trying to get some damage on the Pharah, trying to be sneaky here. Can they back out from the hook from Yeloff? And yes, they can. Still staying fairly steadfast around the point, but now just managing to retreat, as that fight did not particularly go in Blizzard's fashion either. Dookie with his very, very sneaky dives here are working incredibly well. Seems to be poking out, seems to be baiting Blizzard in a particular fashion, that once Pilgrim, who is pushing forward on his own a bit too much, is just able to get picked off that point there. Again, doing another bit of damage. Dookie with the full 100 damage hit on his fire strike. The next hook on the Lucio. This is carnage from the side of Ericsson here. Very comfortably. Oh, Dookie just managed, probably very luckily, to be stopped by that trap. He probably could have gone right in, and the rest of the team, the rest of the Blizzard team, could have done a lot of damage there. Riptire taking out the opposite team's Junkrat to clean up the rest of the game, but only getting the one there. Everybody else in the Ericsson team was very comfortable on cleaning up Blizzard. Very, very comfortably. Ropesy in with play of the game. No doubt the triple kill on the Riptire. Classic Ropesy play. Ericsson taking map 2. Now this is a result. I was expecting these guys to bash heads a lot more aggressively, but there was a bit of toing and froing in Ilios, but Ericsson just taking Hanamura, probably their most comfortable map, I would imagine. But excellent result from the side of Ericsson. What can you say about that? Fairly strong compositions from both sides. Fairly even on there as well. Probably a bit of a late pick on the Mercy. Maybe pushing in with Farah a bit more. Farah was doing a good bit of work trying to flank, but being on their own, there wasn't enough distraction from the front gate, and there wasn't enough backup from behind either on the flank. So any damage that Farah could have potentially done couldn't really have been followed up with. Valiant effort all the same. Not particularly any used or abused ults or abilities in any particular fashion. I mean, the play from Ericsson was just cool, calm and collected. They were prepared. The Mei walls were ready to trap the 2 tanks in the first push, and from there on, that kind of seemed to knock Blizzard at the knees and kind of give them a bit of a shake. They were a bit hesitant in their approaches from there, but at the same time, Pilgrim getting knocked out a bit. 3 kills through the front gate with this area, and with that pick, it's just not enough to push through. Not seeing any particularly aggressive push from the Reinhardt on the Blizzard side just to push through last minute to see if they can get anything, but Ericsson were just ready just to hold down the pressure and just make sure that any of those opportunities, were they to arise, just couldn't be capitalized on. Thank you so much to Eric Tessa 24/7 for the very, very generous donation to Enable Ireland. Same to Connor Hickey. Thank you guys so much for putting yourselves on the board. Not only are you putting yourselves on the board in Overwatch, but you're also putting yourselves on the board for our wonderful charity, Enable Ireland. Not only are they steadfast in their defense, but also courteous in their generosity. The score is 2-0 to Ericsson. Now, I was expecting, had my coffee ready to go. I was like, right, guys, this is going to be a late one tonight. Bringing us all up to the typical 2-hour mark of a 5 map game. Not to say that the chances are lost yet by Blizzard by any means, because from the Ericsson side, Hanamura and Ilios being their strongest maps that we've seen in the past, I'm interested to see how they are going to fare in the hybrid world. Of course, the next choice of maps is going to be either Blizzard World, Eichenwald, Hollywood, Kings Row, or Numbani. Bringing us into map 3 of the Irish Interfirms Gaming League friendly series, Blizzard versus Ericsson. Excuse me for one moment, I'm going to go talk to the teams and make sure that all subs and map choices have been done accordingly. if you have not seen on the stream already, next map is going to be map 3 Kings Row, as of Blizzard's choice. This was a very contentious map in the previous Blizzard Ericsson matchup as well, bringing it to the very, very final moments of the game, but Blizzard just managing to take it in the end. Not without a fight though. I believe I saw a edited clip montage of that particular map from one Andy, and there was many 3Ks on the Ropesy side from there. So looking forward to seeing his performance in this. I don't mean to be harping on about this Ropesy character, but at the same time, I live for these rip tires that are on these streams. I close my eyes and I just hear that voice line and see the sparks of Australian explosives going up in the air. Telling my laptop to shut up. Also, shout out to all of you wonderful people with 2 ears who can tell that I keep knocking my microphone back to not, well, I guess it is on mono now. With the hardware I'm using, it only feeds into 1 channel and I need to spread it across 2. So thank you again for all of our wonderful audience members tonight. I'd like to think I'd have a better choice of sort of audience participation game, but screaming at me about technical difficulties is pretty fun. I know many people who are very happy to do it. It's what I do for a living. I do want to see a far more aggressive push from Blizzard in this game. They will be beginning with attack, I believe, on this push. So this is a very strong map for them. I've seen them do very, very well before. So I'm hoping, for the sake of putting on a good show, that this is going to be a strong approach from there. They seem to be fairly steadfast in their choice of the composition. They seem to be very set on the meta, which is definitely something that they had been doing with GOATs previously before that took a big hit. Blizzard being Blizzard, playing from the Blizzard playbook, I mean, they make this game. They must, but I mean, the meta's the meta for a reason, right? It's gotta mean something. Again, seeing a lot of use from both Junkrat and Sombra. Huge buffs on the table since the recent balance update. Definitely a lot of use of the extra charge on Sombra's laser, and I mean, I haven't seen much effect from Lucio's damage, but I mean, from what I've seen in the last game there in Hanamura anyway, all shields were kept very much at bay from both sides even. Alright folks, we are jumping into map 3, Kings Row. Good luck, have fun.
Now entering King's
Turn down the wonderful royalty-free lo-fi hip-hop beats. We only play soft things for your ears. I'm just enjoying watching these guys just kind of rock it out to each other right now. I mean, I think Blizzard or Ericsson were trying to be a bit courteous there, saying hello. But Invox instance kicking in as the Reinhardt, ready to dash at any moment. Alright, let's jump in, folks.
Initiating match.
No RTX support in Overwatch yet. Come on, Jeff. What are you doing? I want to see this sparkling golden statue in all of its glory.
Ready for battle.
Not deviating from the plan, or actually rather,
Attackers in.
yeah, not deviating too far from the plan of before. Blizzard taking a very comfortable meta type pick from what we've seen in the Overwatch League of the past while, and what they've been doing pretty much in the entirety of this game here, making sure that they're getting a bit of range DPS from Ray and Gree.
5, 4,
Pretty much met with a very comfortable
1.
similar pick from the Ericsson side, with the Widowmaker trying to do some damage against down on this May here. I was expecting to see the McCree contesting the high ground there, but that wasn't quite what we were given. Blizzard being very comfortable with their May picks here along with Ericsson. Dookie going down to Demi, putting a lot of pressure on there. Pilgrim getting a lot of charge already and pushing out beyond the gate. Really giving Ericsson a message that they are not messing around this game. Just as I say, maybe it's time for the Widowmaker to switch off on the Ericsson side, swap for a little more mid-ranged, close and comfortable pick with the Hanzo here, trying to get a lot more damage as they rotate around the statue. Blizzard seemingly ready for this as Demi is putting a lot of pressure on Dookie here, really focusing on the center point. It's a fight of the tanks here, and a great freeze from Demi, just really immobilizing the team and managing everybody else just to give them a lot of pressure and bring them down. Yeloff just managing to make it out alive, waiting on that health back there. Let's see if he can get his teammates back into the fight. Pilgrim feeling warmed up, feeling ready to go, getting the picks that he wants. Grab just getting Dookie here as the focus on Demi is really put through, but Dookie survives. Not even, but with the Coalescence helping him too, with the Moira on the Blizzard side trying to see what they can do to counteract it as well, as the scattered Ericsson team is trying to compose itself and bring itself onto the point, but Blizzard are just far too steadfast in their hold here. This is more of the kind of action I wanted to see from the Blizzard side. This map seems to be something they're far more comfortable with. Their tanks are operating very, very well. They're really doing what they need to. Demi doing a lot of work on the May, pretty much successfully culling that last fight, or nipping it at the bud with the wall, and just managing to take out the line card. And following up here now, the series as the Dragon Blade is not, or sorry, as the Hanzo does not seem to get any picks of that side there. I just Pilgrim just trying to get the rest of the team there now with Ray. He manages to take two out in the Graviton Surge, managing to do a lot of damage and taking out half of the team, but I really thought the Blizzard could have turned that around there, but Demi just not getting there in time. The rest of the team managing to get speed boost by Sephiron up and up to the point to try and get it just past 2 clicks. With Pat managing to just use that Death Blossom to mix out the rest of the Blizzard team. Fairly reputable hold, 3 minutes, ain't bad. Far more of the performance I'd like to see from Blizzard here. Doing very well in that hold. Just don't get too overzealous here. Hold hard. Demi's doing a lot of work on the May here. It's definitely something that they're that the Ericsson side weren't expecting. Ericsson themselves comfortable enough with the Mei, but opting for a Tracer now instead of a Hanzo. Definitely a good pick here. Blizzard playing very close together and seem far more coordinated in this more close-off map, as the Earthshatter manages to drop 2, but only getting 1 pick on Dookie here on the push. Actually, that coming in from the Blizzard side. Managing just to get the baby Diva with the Deadeye and the Coalescence push from Blizzard. They really don't want Ericsson to get any more push here. Pretty much using the entirety of the ults that they had at their disposal, but garnering all the ground and pretty much bringing Ericsson back to square one. Ericsson feeling a bit more shaky here, can't really decide what kind of move to do next, as the next push is stopped by both the Graviton Surge and the Ice Circle from May. Really, only really being, Dookie really being kept up by the Coalescence there, but is very aggressively pushing in, which is definitely what they need to do. Counteracting with the Diva Bomb on the Ericsson side, allowing Dookie to drop his shield and just do that extra bit of damage just to really push them back. Excellent push from the Ericsson side, catching Blizzard off guard. They were a bit split up there in the house and between the road. That's something that they were doing in the last fight as well, but it seems that Ericsson were privy to their likelihood of doing that and managed to take advantage of it. On that point there, oh, the Fire Strike taking out Pilgrim. Dropping there as he's trying to do a bit of damage, fairly well charged, but not charged enough to keep him alive. A very split fight here. Invox taking out Dookie on the point here, the fight of the Reinhardts here. Connor Hickey keeping Dookie up and alive as the shield is there, just trying to keep him up. Demi playing very aggressive, but just needs to push around, trying to find an opportunity to get behind them as the Ice Ball goes up just to block the card a tiny bit more, as Coalescences are shared between Ericsson and Blizzard. Invox managing to take out Dookie finally, and that will be probably enough as Demi manages to freeze Diva for the team to push back. Excellent hold on the Blizzard side for the second point. 20 seconds on the clock from Ericsson. Doesn't seem likely that they're going to be able to push through here. However, we do have 3 ults, as I say now. Catch us about, there we go. 3 ults on the Ericsson side. Will this Death Blossom be able to manage something here? He goes in, retreats ever so slightly. The Sonic. Oh my god. A trade of a lot here. Not really getting much from that Deadeye either, but Demi, being the very aggressive and punishing player that has been in this whole fight, manages to freeze everybody down and very comfortably holds the second point for Blizzard. Now that is more like what I'm expecting to see from Blizzard. Stopping Ericsson from getting to the third point. If I recall, this is exactly where Blizzard were holding Ericsson down in the previous game pretty aggressively, save for a pretty ace Riptire on the side of Ericsson to make them push through there and get to the end. But that choke is definitely something that Blizzard just has on lock. I miss you too, Jay, don't worry. The only way to stroke Jay's beard is to approach him from behind and whisper sweet nothings into his ear.
Ready for battle.
For anyone watching this back, this is in context with the chat, I swear. I'm not just daydreaming about Jay. Well, I am daydreaming about Jay. But we all kind of get stuck in that sometimes. Pretty much when I brain farted in that last fight, I was just thinking about Jay. Blizzard sticking with a similar composition here, getting fairly, looking like they're getting fairly confident with their TPS here. They're going to definitely be pushing for a far more aggressive push here. Yelof with the Torbjorn. Right. Okay. I believe I know that Torbjorn got a buff in the patch notes. I can't remember what it was. It was 17 damage per shot before. I'm not sure if they have actually improved that much here. Inbox getting walled out, and the bit of damage from the dash and from the Torbjorn turret. They haven't seemed to know the turret, but Ray Ingray seems to get it there, trading shots between McCree and the Torbjorn here. As that seems to have done its job enough in this first fight, just to hold Blizzard back that tiny bit. Just to make them shake at the knees ever so slightly in this early part of the game here. 3:20 minutes on the clock here. They're pushing in very strong. Ericsson not up enough just to hold that gate, but Cat seems to be doing the same thing as the May and the Blizzard side was doing before and just catching them out. Maybe they were baiting them in at that point. Inbox caught out by Cat and just completely torn down by Hydroid Prime on the Orisa. Trading shots with Pilgrim here. Managing to scare them back enough. Cat is playing really aggressively. The May plays in this game have been pretty top notch from both teams, gotta say. As it's just enough disruption to scatter both teams. Ericsson, very good at focusing players. Seems to be a very strong point of their communication here. Not to say that the communication of Blizzard ain't so strong either, because look at these guys here, they're gearing themselves up for this push, as Hanzo seems to be trading blows from the theater in there. Slow approach here, Ericsson definitely ready. That slow approach probably benefiting Ericsson, allowing their ults just to get up a bit more, as they're definitely in the advantage here, leading into Coalescence, as Molten Core seems to go down. The Molotov cocktail ult of sorts, spreading the Blizzard team across the board as Dookie gets that double kill. Maybe make it a triple anyway if Cat is able to wipe up the rest of the Blizzard team with that hold. The team kill on the side of Ericsson. That slow approach maybe did not benefit them as much as they would have hoped. Ericsson definitely seemed to be privy to what they were doing there and maintaining 3 of their ults. Well, they used the Earth Shatter in that and the Molten Core, of course, in that hold. Enough to spread them out from around here next to the statue into the corner. Pilgrim getting his dragons right through the podium, but not really getting any results out of that yet. Enough to spread the Ericsson team, but they're still pretty enough to be able to get back and forth very quickly. Huge trades of ults here. Sonic barrier first not really doing anything. Ray Ingray trying to get something out of all of the chaos, taking out Cat, but still Connor Hickey maintaining the health of this team, along with the supercharger being able to bring Blizzard back into their spawn. Pilgrim on the Hanzo trying to get themselves down. A bit of a peek from Lucio there to be traded with the Torbjorn turret, which has stayed pretty hard there. It's a pretty good position. Not really much that they can do from the right hand side once Orisa's shield is down there, and any rotation around the statue that they have seems to be just nullified by the rest of the team, getting that extra bit of damage on the turret too. Pilgrim swapping to the Junkrat here just to do that extra bit of damage to the Orisa shield, and it seems to be doing its job. It was dropped once there and it's just about to drop one down again. Pushing again with the Coalescence. Very calm, collected approach from Blizzard here. A song of ice and fire blazing from the center of the point here as Cat tries to take down, and does take down, the inbox Reinhardt on the Blizzard side, as the grab comes in as a last minute piece of hope for Blizzard. But that's it, folks. I think this is it for tonight. Overtime on the Ericsson side as Infox and Dookie taken down football style, and that is it. That is Ericsson taking map 3 and taking this evening of the Irish Interfirms Gaming League friendly series. GG Ericsson. Well, I'll be, folks. What a performance from the Ericsson side. Blizzard really gave them a run for their money in the last game, but now Ericsson have come back and pretty cleanly taken the 3 maps. We will not need to go to an extra map after that, but wow. The roster that Ericsson seemed to have built Not only has it grown in size, but the communication and the collaboration between the team has also gone incredibly well. They seem to be working a lot closer than they were before the ults coming out, playing a little more reserved, definitely not as firing from the hip as some plays that I've seen, which may or may not have played in or against their favor, but having a far more cold approach to things was definitely something that brought them on top of Blizzard. Blizzard, excellent plays from them as well, especially in King's Row in that first map, but at the same time seemed to get a bit shook from what Ericsson were doing. Expecting Ericsson to pop out a bit more maybe, or be a little more zealous in their approach, but still, Ericsson managing just to not let Blizzard and their ability to get through and get any maps in that game. GG's all around from the chat in here, guys. Lots of love going around. Fantastic game, fantastic performance from Ericsson and Blizzard, of course. And guys, what can I say apart from that? I thought I was gonna be on the line for another while in that game. I'm not gonna lie, but that's it. 3-0 Ericsson against Blizzard. Well, guys, I want to thank you all for tuning in to the Irish Into Firms Friendly series. Of course, all donations tonight, of which there were many and very generous too. Guys, I gotta call you all out. Eric Tested of the Ericsson team, I do believe. Lebivsta? I don't believe you were playing, but thank you so much for the very, very generous donation. We really, really appreciate it here. And of course, Andy with his donations as well. Father Chewy Louie, Connor Hickey, Rebula Conundrum, and Father Dougal. Maybe somebody getting a bit of inspiration from the Father Ted quotes, but I'll take it. I'll take it all. Thanks again for tuning in tonight to the game, folks. If you want to join our Discord, you can find it on www.irishindefirmsgaming.ie, where you can find more information about us, what we do, where we're doing it, more tournament information, and you can sign up there and get your Battlefy ticket so you can pretty much be in the loop with any tournaments that are going on. Give us a follow on the old Twitch there. I'm sure a lot of you who are watching here have already done that, but we love to let you guys know pretty much as easily as possible whenever these games are happening. Discord's great, but everybody gets a lot of pings in Discord. I mean, I know myself, but Twitch, if you have it on your phone anyway, getting push notifications for when we're going live is probably the best way to see it. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Tom of the Irish Into Firms Gaming League. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you for all of the wonderful technical support that you guys gave as well. This was a one-man show this evening. A radio show of sorts. If you want to donate to my ASMR Patreon, you can go... No, I'm just kidding. But thanks again for joining. Thanks for your help. And GG to Ericsson. We will be letting everybody know of the next upcoming games very, very soon. The next Overwatch game, which is going to be Blizzard versus EA. So, gaming titans going head to head. So stay tuned for that. Join up on the Discord. We'll have dates, more information, and of course just general banter going on the Discord. So come on and join. Anyway, that's it, folks. I'm going to knock offline. Thank you so much for the donations. It is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. Good night.